You're over here joining us at the Nerd for No Reason podcast. What's good, guys? I'm your host. I'm Raven. I also got another host. It's
That's
that
me.
guy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mark. And 100% of the time when Raven does the intro, I always step on her unintentionally. I'm sorry, Raven.
Nah, man. It's because you never really know what's going to happen whenever I decide to do the intro.
Because we do not have a script here.
Oh, God, no. Could never do that. Could never be us. What's up?
Actually, I think the only time we've ever had a script was when we recorded our trailer for
Oh,
the
yeah.
podcast. And I was like, Raven, I wrote some stuff. You're the highlighted blue. Go. So,
Beautiful.
not much.
Great.
To answer your question, no, not much has been going on. See, we're all over the place. Boy, high quality podcast entertainment is
Chef's
going on
kiss.
over here. Yeah. No, not a lot has been going on this week. I've been actually really busy, coupled with work and home stuff, because it's May, and this is the time of year besides December when we are the busiest. We have all of our end of the year extracurricular activities coming up.
Yeah.
We got piano recitals and band concerts and chorus concerts and the arts. And then just, I didn't even realize it, but like school's out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these badass kids for 2 months. Oh, yes. Summer break now is only like 2 months.
Oof. That
Yeah.
sounds miserable. I'm not even going to lie to you, my man.
Yeah, but they
I
get
know you love your kids and stuff, but like, what do you guys normally do with them? Do you just have ship them off to Mimi and Pop-Pops?
the past like 3 years, I've been at home with them during the summer.
Oh,
And now my boss is like, I want everyone to come back to work. And I'm like, no, I don't want to.
right?
And, I think it was fall break or something. Like we started really coming back to the office, like 4 days a week. I think, when was it? It had to have been like right after the first of the year. And we started coming back like 2 or 3 days a week back in August. And I remember like sitting down with my boss going, can I like just work from home during Thanksgiving break or like fall break or something like that? And he was like, yeah, but you need to make plans to have someone watch your kids because we're going to start coming in more often. I was like, whatever. Because literally like all the offices around us are only come in like once a week. But our bay is just like, it's a fun, we all come in. Our bay is packed every day of the week. It's crazy.
Gross.
It kind of is. I like where I work.
I mean, I guess if you like it. I remember when I was working in the kitchen for Blue Cross in Chattanooga, and there was literally like thousands of people that worked on the hill. Oof. I cannot imagine just being like, yeah, I want to go to a nice little office job every day. Sit there and tink, tink, tink on my computer and whatnot. I barely wanted to just get ready to get up and go to the kitchen. And I loved my kitchen job.
No, it can be kind of crazy sometimes because there are certain days, and if my bosses ever hear this is completely untrue and made up for the podcast. There are certain days when I go in there and I have all my work done and I just stare at my computer screen.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that last week where he just like walked in and you were like, oh.
And he did it again this week too. And was just like, what are you doing? And actually I was busy doing something. And it was kind of work related. Like, I don't know. I was trying to hammer out some leave or something, like trying to get my days straight. And he walked in as I was updating the spreadsheet and he was like, oh, you're not busy. And I was like, what do you need? And he was like, cool, here's a whole bunch of work. And, I was like, okay, cool. And I did it. And then the next day I could have teleworked. He was like, what are you doing here? Like, well, I got this work to do, and it's easier if I got like all my monitors and stuff like I have here at the office. He's like, you're a good worker, thank you. I was like, yeah, no problem, boo. I got you. I love you too. And then I went back to work. So yeah, it's just, it's work. It's worky work, and it never stops. It's a slow, steady stream of just stuff. And then once I get caught up with it, then more work will show up. So, because that's kind of how it works.
I feel that, but in dog realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually another dog groomer that lives in the apartment complex that Chris and I live in. And when we first moved in, I was like, oh my God, there's someone that lives. So we have like each little streets. So not in the street that we're in, but the street right next to ours. I was like, ooh, there's another dog groomer over there. And so we've been living here since, the end of February, beginning of March. And I've just been like, man, I want to meet this person. But like, we both groom during the day, and it's like, whenever you get off, you just want to pretend that you don't exist and live on your couch because your back probably hurts from lifting dogs and doing all that jazzery. But she finally caught me today. I was just out walking Boo and Mudslide, and the next thing I know, I hear, "Are you Raven?" And I was like, what the heck? So I like turn around, and this lady comes like bebopping over there to me, and she's like, "Hey, I'm the other groomer that lives in the apartment complex. I saw you work for Swinky Mutts, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Okay, I saw where your boss like posted a picture and was like, 'This is our newest groomer, Raven.'" And I was like, "Oh, that's the girl that lives in my apartment." And she just starts talking to me. And so I was just like, "Oh, this is nice. I've somehow made an acquaintance. What's up?" Which is kind of hard, to be honest, to move to a new city and then I just do a job where essentially the only people that I talk to is for like 5 to 15 minutes, and it's really just like, "What do you want your dog done?" "Okay, here's how much it is. Here's your next appointment. Okay, bye." And then I just talk to their dog for a few hours. But yeah, so that was cool.
I was gonna ask you if you guys like West Side Story. You guys are on both sides. Like, this is my street. Mutts and cuts. Whoop whoop.
Right? Actually, she was like, "Yeah, I've been," she told me that she's been in the business for like 20 years and she also does mobile. She was like, "Yeah, that's my little piece of shit van over there." And I was like, "Hey, I'm not going to say anything about it. Whatever gets the job done." She was like, "I'm actually booked out for the end of the year." She told me she didn't have any new clients within the last year and she's just been referring them all to us. So,
Oh wow.
no, the groomers in Knoxville, like the mobile groomers, they're all like super nice and everyone's just like, "Hey, I can't take new clients, so if you want these, I'll send them your way." So yeah, that's the one thing that I was really surprised about, is that it's not like it is kind of competitive, but at the same time, like, you can just easily get customers.
That's great.
Right? It's a good time.
Sounds like it, man. That's cool, man. I'm glad that everything is going good, man. I was really hoping you guys would transition to Knoxville like really good, and I'm glad everything seems to be working good. I'm glad that Chris got a job at corporate and you got your little dog grooming thing going on. Like, I feel like the big brother was like all proud of his younger brother and his girlfriend is like, "Look at y'all being big kids.
I'm so proud of them."
Filling out your big boy tax forms."
Hey, you know what? Actually, my grandparents still do my taxes, but that's okay. And then whenever I have to, fill out my like W-4s or W-2, whatever it is that you do when you start a new job, I'm always like, "I don't know how to do this." And so I call Chris. That's the kind of adult I am.
I swear I haven't done tax stuff in so many years that if I had to change jobs and they're like, here's some tax stuff, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. Because, I mean, the last time I did it was, what year is it?
23.
23. So I did it in like 2006.
Ooh, Lord.
So, yeah.
That's a hot minute, my man.
They'd be like, okay. And I think the last time I changed something on my taxes was when Alice was born. So that would have been 14 years ago. And it was like, oh, yeah, because you got a dependent now. You got to change your deductions. And then I went and changed my deductions. And I was just like, cool. Like, y'all just keep taking out as much money as y'all need to from right here. Like, this seems to be good for me. And then when Amy was born, they were like, cool, we're still going to keep taking out, like, a whole bunch of money. And, yeah. And taxes are dumb.
Facts.
I ain't
Straight
gonna lie.
facts.
Like, they're just dumb. Yeah. Let's not talk about taxes. That makes me sad.
You want to talk about something that makes you happy?
Yes. Well, we got a special section for that later.
Well, I meant something a little different. Maybe like your little animation eliminations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man, all right. So this is garnered nowhere near as much fanfare, the non-Disney bracket. Like we've had some, but this was like the whole reason for not doing a mixed bracket, because this is, a lot of people have been like, oh man, this is great, this is fun, but I'm not getting nowhere near the response as I was for like the Disney bracket. Mm-hmm. And this is the exact reason why, because straight up they're just oh, sorry. I'm clicking through the brackets now. But just because I know that, because I'm not getting the response that I wanted from this bracket as I did the Disney bracket, that Disney was just going to dominate, So, but it has been fun. I'm trying to think where we picked off, or where we talked about, because we didn't talk about it last week. So I'll just go down the list, because the first round is over with now. So moving on, I think we did the first 4 matches. So we'll just do the last 4, like the last half of the first round. So up first was The Last Unicorn versus Osmosis Jones. That one was surprisingly close. That one was actually really close. I think Nostalgia won on that one, but The Last Unicorn moved on. Fern Gully versus All Dogs Go to Heaven. Again, very close. A lot of people had strong feelings, but All Dogs Go to Heaven moves on to the next round. The next one, Road to El Dorado and American Tail. Nostalgia. I feel like this was one of those things that if you're of a certain age, then Road to El Dorado was your jam. Mm-hmm. And if you are older than that certain age, then American Tail was your jam.
So American Tail won.
You know what? Really close. I got to go look at the numbers. I think American Tail won by like a vote.
Dang.
Yeah. And then for the last one, it was Secret of Nim versus SpongeBob SquarePants. And I think SpongeBob won, but I got to look at the numbers again because I'm a terrible person and didn't take pictures of. So that one's up in the air. I'm not going to say who won or lost that one. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Probably SpongeBob. Let's be real.
I mean,
SpongeBob's a classic.
Yeah, SpongeBob is actually like a modern classic. It is really good.
Right?
Yeah, way better than it has any business being. You can watch that today
and still be like, man, there's some good stupid humor in here.
Right. It's really good. It's even yeah, it's a wonderful film. And Secret of Nim was actually I didn't think that was going to be as popular as it was, but people really glommed onto that at work, man. So I'm I'm excited. The next round is going to be fast and furious, man. I think I've got a couple picked out for winners, but I don't know. I really have no idea how these are going to shake out, because me and my cube mates at work all thought the Iron Giant was going to go all the way, and we see how that panned out. So, yeah. But I need to start working on the CGI bracket, because that is going to be a labor of love. Trying to figure out 16 films on each side, 32 films all together.
Yeah.
Because almost every animated feature past 2000 has been CGI, so that's going to be tough, especially because do I make just a Disney bracket? Do I make just a Pixar bracket? Do I make... Oh, it's going to be hard.
This elimination thing can just go on forever.
It can. And that's why I picked it, and I'm sticking with it, because it gives us content. So.
And it's fun, you know?
It is
especially
fun.
like for the people at your work, because I remember with the Disney bracket, you were like, people were over there hounding you for it.
They were. And I've inspired other people to start setting up brackets of their own. Someone right now, some ladies that come down there and always vote on mine, they started their own bracket. What is the best action movie? And that's been interesting, but I've had to go in there and start nerdy debates with them, because they mentioned they had the Fast and the Furious, and I was like, which Fast and Furious movie? They're like, the first one. I said, no, that's not even the best one in the franchise. Like, it's got to be 6. She's like, no, it's just the first one. We're not doing sequels. I'm like, no. This is a very special example, because 6 is nothing like 1. You know, it's not like Die Hard 1, 2, and 3. Those are essentially the same movies.
Yeah.
But the first Fast and Furious is a good action movie. The 6th one is a fantastic action movie. Like, well, I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, you're leaving a lot of good action movies on the table then. You should have a bracket of just Fast and Furious movies. So,
Dang.
but yeah, no, it's cool, man. We talk at work. I think I said this last week, man. Like, I really like finding the creative people at work and just talking nerd shit with them. And it's really cool. It's really cool. Office job. # office job.
The benefit of an office job.
Right.
There you go.
I'm not on top of an airplane turning wrenches in 100-degree weather. So no matter how bad my job is in the office, which it is not bad at all, no matter how frustrated I get, I'm always like, am I out there on top of an airplane turning wrenches right now? No. Okay. Good. Do I have to give up my weekend to go out there and turn wrenches on an airplane? No. Good.
Oh my goodness. I have to tell you about this silly goose thing that I found on the Twitters. And I posted it to my lovely little, I have my own little channel in our giant Discord, which is called Raven's Den of Degens. And I found where this plane couldn't take off because there was just like a massive swarm of bees.
I saw that.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
How did they just like decide, hey, we're just going to take over this for just like a little bit? And then at some point they're like, oh, I guess this is kind of an issue that we should take care of.
Now, I've seen this happen. I think I had TikTok or something. I can't remember where I've seen this. But it is a phenomenon when bees are relocating, and basically they were just chilling there for like, a couple hours, and then they'll leave to go find wherever they decide to set up shop. And it's not necessarily an uncommon occurrence for that to happen. It's kind of odd because it was on the wing of an airplane. It seems like that would be, dangerous. Like they would sense the danger of being on like an active runway of like, hey, maybe this is something we don't need to do. But no, like they'll bundle up real quickly, form like it's not a permanent thing. It's just they all gather so they can protect the queen. And after a couple hours, once they're all rested up, they pull chocks and get out of there.
So weird. Yeah, because
No.
everyone in the chat was like, I mean, if you just remove the queen, but then, of course, there's some other people that are like, oh my God, that's so terrifying. Because I remember in like high school, we had right next to our cafeteria, there was these trees that would just like super attract bees. And people would get so scared to walk through them. And I'm like, they're just bumblebees. Like, it's really okay. As long as you don't like bother them. It's not like they're going to be like, I'm coming after you.
Right.
And so everyone would be like running around, and I just walk through them and be like, oh my God, look at all these cute little friends. But yeah. Anywho.
Do you know what comes out next week, Raven?
Is it The Legend of Zelda's?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh.
I have made very special plans to block off on my calendar, and I have tried so desperately hard to avoid spoilers because it's already hit the bootleg circuit.
Oh.
And could I play it? Yeah, I could, but I'm not. I'm gonna play it the way God and Nintendo has intended me to play it, and that is on a 4-inch wide screen in my lap. No. No, I actually, surprisingly enough, as much as I've been talking about it, I have not pre-ordered the game because I am trying to get the collector's edition.
Oh,
It
yeah.
comes with like the pins and everything else. So Saturday or Friday morning, I'm hitting the bricks and going to brick and mortar stores to try to get this thing. Spend more money than I need to because I gotta have the freaking amiibo too because I'm a glutton for punishment. So yeah,
I mean, but it's nice if you're like, oh, I have this. And then, you get to do the thing where, especially, I know that you like, where you have your like little nerd stuff at work and people are like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, you know,
yep, that's
starts up a cool combo.
it does. And if I get the pins and all that, if I actually GameStop is giving away like a plaque or something or some special with it, and I kind of want that too, just another tchotchke to have. So I might actually have to go to GameStop and see what's happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really like going to GameStop, but
Yeah.
kind of is what it is.
We no longer support GameStop just because of Kirby.
Oh
And
yeah,
his
I was gonna ask.
horrible
Is this 'cause of
time
Kirby?
of working there. But luckily he hasn't worked there in, shoot, how long has it been? Like 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, I was about to say it's been a while.
Yeah, but he will still like every now and then like tell us some stories and we're just like, "Oh my God."
Well, but wasn't a lot of his like trials and tribulations at GameStop like customer related, or
I mean,
was it management too?
both, to
Okay.
be honest. Like he had some pretty like shit managers, and then corporate in itself was just terrible, and they'd be like, "We need you to up all these like cells or whatever for like the stupidest stuff." And he's like, "People don't want this dog shit, and you're trying to force us on it." Stuff
Yeah.
like that. Also, someone in like his region found a dead body in
Oh,
their store at some point, and yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff. I was like,
wow.
"You mean like close to our area?" And he was like, "Yeah, kind of." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, isn't that fun?"
Holy shit. I didn't
Yeah.
realize GameStop was like that. I guess I probably should have known, but
I don't know, cuz I listened to, I don't remember if it was like a YouTube video or if it was a TikTok that I saw where some girl was talking about how she like smelled something weird. Maybe it was on Reddit. I don't remember. But this girl worked at like a movie theater, and she was in the bathroom, and they were doing like the cleaning crew at the end of the night. She was like, "Man, something smells weird, like in one of these bathrooms." And the other person was like, "Yeah, but you know what always really like stinks in the bathroom." And so maybe it was like a day later or two that the cops ended up like coming in because they were like, "Hey, we've been looking for this guy and we've pinged his phone here to your location and his car is in the parking lot." Turns out home guy had just like had a heart attack in like one of their bathroom stalls.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so it like started decaying. And I'm just like, "Oh my god. If I found something like that in a movie theater." Which apparently someone did pass away in the Chattanooga theater while it was still like a discount house. So before Chris and I like ever worked there. But we always said that theater 3, I think it was 3, was haunted. He also had like a heart attack. But yeah, now you get to think about that. That anywhere you go, someone has probably just passed away.
All right. Well, I don't know how to make a good segue from, people die. You know what? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Speaking of people dying, let's talk about this week's movie because a lot of people die in it.
They sure do. They sure do.
This week's movie is the 1988 remake of the 1950s cult horror movie The Blob. And I can't remember. Raven, is this your first time seeing this movie?
It was. I have heard of the Blob several times, but anytime I would like try to look for it to watch it, because I had heard that it wasn't like, you know, a terrible movie for the 80s horror. I could like not find it or you'd have to pay for it, and I wasn't about that lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. I feel you. Well, what'd you think of it?
I honestly thought it was really good for its time. The, you know, effects were really good. Some of the acting, of course, is a little cheesy, but of course it's a classic 80s film, so you have to have that because, that is what it is. But I like the idea of this monster just being some bacteria that you assume comes from out of space, and then you realize, nope, it's just America. Trying to fuck you up. What'd you think about it?
I want to go back in time before I answer that question.
Oh.
I want to go back in time to last week when we were trying to figure out a movie. And I said, man, I just really want a movie that I can that I can watch, is dumb, and then I can just dunk on it. I want to talk about it next week and just really just rake it over the coals. And I found this one. I remember texting you going, how do you feel about wild ass, weird, like gory prosthetic, horror stuff? You were like, yeah, bring it on. I was like, cool, let's do this one. Because it was like this and like one other movie I found. I was like, I can't wait to dunk on these movies so much. I can't dunk on it. It's great. I love it. I really enjoyed this damn movie. Way more than I remember liking it. Because I used to have it on DVD. And this movie is wonderful. It is the right amount of everything for its time.
Mm-hmm.
It's campy. It's gory. The effects are great and cheesy. Just, it very much knows what it is, and all the actors give 100%. And yeah, this movie is wonderful. I love it so much.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. While we were actually watching it, Chris was like, these like effects are actually really good and stuff for the actual monster itself. And so Chris started to look up who like was behind it all. And the man that actually did the effects and the props and whatnot is a dude named Tony Gardner, and he has worked on so many like big name films that Chris was like, "Holy shit." So this was like one of his like first movies for him to really just like get into it. But this man worked on Zombieland, Hairspray, Jackass, The Addams Family. Um, he actually worked with Daft Punk.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he did like those old Geico caveman commercials and stuff like that. He's really done a lot of stuff, and so I think this was really like one of his earlier things that helped to really push him out there. Because, you get some of the weird, like, cheesy background, like when they were shooting the flamethrowers, and you can see, like, a line being drawn
Oh yeah.
of fire. That cracked me up so hard. But, like, at the same time, the monster itself was, like, good. Like, it looked like it could be, honestly, something that you'd be like, holy shit, I don't want that nasty thing coming near me.
Yeah. Well, so I started looking up when I was watching this. I looked up like, the people behind it because, I'm a responsible podcaster and want to have all the information. And the director and writer of this is a dude named Chuck Russell. And when I looked up what all he's been in, I was shocked, to say the least, because this man has he directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Mask, Eraser starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Scorpion King, and most recently he did Paradise City starring John Travolta and Bruce Willis. So he's had like this dude is just, I mean, he's got three movies in production. So I love the fact that this man started off on like schlocky horror movies, 80s horror movies, like the epitome of 80s horror movies in Nightmare on Elm Street and The Blob, and is now still continuously working. Like, that makes me happy in my soul. Yeah.
I love that.
And it's just not a string of Sharknadoes.
Right.
That's the important distinction. So
I also feel like, he's jumping to like some different genres, which is kind of nice because, a lot of people that you see tend to stay like pretty much in one solitary lane of like, okay, this is what I'm really good at, so let's just kind of keep it here.
yeah.
But interesting.
No.
Interesting.
All right, let's get into this movie like proper.
Talk some highlights.
Let's see. I guess let's just start from the top, man. Like, I don't know what kind. I want to start from, like, this scene always stuck out in my head. The beginning where Kevin Dillon of the Acting Dillons decided, like, hey, I'm gonna get this big heavy Evel Knievel street bike and try to jump it over like a 5-foot gap in a ditch. This always stuck with me. Even as a kid, I remember seeing this going, that's not the kind of bike you jump like that. And, for some reason, he must have had a special bike, because watching it later on, it was super light. Like, there's no way that bike should have handled like it did. And then later, when he did jump the gap, when he was running from the government, we'll call them,
Mm-hmm.
and he got so much air and stuff, I was like, get the hell out of here with that. But
So funny.
I'm here. I'm all here for it. So let's see. I guess for real, we can kind of pick up where the blob crash lands and immediately attacks Homeless Joe. And I felt bad for Homeless Joe.
R.I.P. my man. He was just out there doing stuff.
Living his best life.
Also, if you look, his title name is Can Man, because they showed it once in the rolling credits, and then at like the end of like all the like featured names, it got to the bottom and shows it again, and it's like Billy Beck as Can Man.
Can Man. I'll be damned. Awesome.
Oh, but
They
my
could.
man gets his hands start to be eaten off, gets hit by a car, thrown into some like kid's car, driven to the hospital, only to, have his whole lower half just like taken away. During that whole like scene, Chris was like, huh, huh, huh. He's over there getting frisky. I was just like, bro, stop.
It man, that was so wild that I guess this is a trope that like really frustrates me. Like in 2023 world, we're like 1980s doctors, because I think I saw this before in like some other movie we watched or we talked about, where they go into a hospital or a doctor's office or something, and someone is obviously hurt, in distress, like, we have an emergency on our hands, and they're just like, hold please. They're sorting through some papers, and then she stacks the papers and puts them over to the side. Is like, all right, now what can I help you with? Like,
Right?
like, bitch, this is a hospital, you know?
Like, this is probably the most exciting thing you'll do this year.
Right.
Let's be real, lady.
Right. And yeah. And she finally stops sorting her papers and gets them back and all that stuff. And yeah. But yeah, like, this is the point when the movie really kicks off. Once the Blob gets like his first legitimate kill, and it's just nonstop after this, which is really kind of great, because it doesn't really let up too much after this.
Oh my god, it just does not stop. As soon as it kills the old man, the kid that when you're first watching it, that you assume is going to be one of the main leads, just dies right in front of Meg's eyes. And she's like, all right,
Yep.
Scarred for life. What's good?
Special effects. Like, this is the first point when I want to point out the special effects, when the slime is like literally eating that dude's face and is pulling him back, and he's got like that skull slimy, like it's like the acid is just eating him away. Top notch.
Looks so good.
It does. Yeah. Again, wanting to dunk on it. I cannot dunk on this movie. And then from there, I'm trying to think where it goes from there.
From there,
it ends up back in the woods, doesn't it?
Yes, because it goes to what I called to Chris the fuck trunk.
That's right. Okay.
Where the dude's over there trying to like get his girl tipsy. Mr. Regular or ribbed. Ribbed or regular.
Right. Yeah, I actually wrote this in my notes. I made a note just because I saw this. My man had the bar in the back of his truck. Or in his trunk, of his car, not his truck. In the trunk of his car, and has a kitchen utensil that I want desperately bad, a cordless blender, a cordless hand mixer.
Right?
I was like, oh, what the fuck? This is wonderful. Look at this. Like, it sucks that he's using it to, basically get his girl drunk so he can take advantage of her, because that scene was like, ugh.
Right.
Like, oh, man, you're slimy. I don't feel bad that you're about to die, So, but I do like that it did kind of happen as he was trying to cop a feel, and then the thing ate his hand. I was like, sweet justice.
Right. I was like, hey, let's start putting this everywhere for men to understand. This is just what happens when you try to cop a feel. Lay's gonna turn into some goo, and you gonna die.
I don't know if that's the message we want to send out.
That's the message that we're trying to send out, Mark.
Don't do it, or ladies are going to turn to goo and you're going to die. So,
but then,
and then
we go to the restaurant.
Yes,
is that where it is?
This is my favorite, because if there's one thing that I do remember from this movie very distinctly, was this next kill scene. First off, when the Dylan boy breaks out of jail. Well, I don't want to say he breaks out of jail. When they let him go after the cops blatantly harass this man, and he goes to the diner. You cannot tell me that some lady who's been on her feet for 12 hours working in a diner, and all of a sudden this kid walks in and goes, "Hey man, come on, hook me up," that she wouldn't be like, "Get the fuck out of my restaurant. I'm trying to go home. I got a date in like 5 minutes. I ain't making you no
Right?
sandwich." And then all of a sudden the friend shows up and she's like, "You want something?" And she's like, "Nope. Mm-mm. No, no, no." She'd be like, "Get out of here now. If you want something, I'm going to throw some pie out in the dumpster here in a minute. Y'all can get that."
For real. She just came over. She was like, "Here's 2 pieces of pie." He's like, "I didn't order this." Well, it's about to go in the trash, so either eat up or get the fuck out.
Right. And she was super nice too. Like
Right?
in real life, like she was nice, man. She didn't have to die. Spoiler alert. Uh, for a movie that's 40 years old, she didn't have to die. Like she was living her best life and just yeah. But we go back in the kitchen and the cook or whoever this guy is starts plunging the sink, and this thing jumps out and gets him by the face and drags him through the fucking pipes, my dude.
Ooh.
This made young Mark scared of the garbage disposal for like years.
I mean, that's fair. I think the reason I got scared of the garbage disposal was because of like a Final Destination scene. So honestly,
Yeah.
both are fair. But yeah, no. My man went through the whole thing, and then Chris is like, "Oh wait, it's gonna spray blood." Nope, the whole blob comes out in
Right.
this like bright pink red color, and homegirl's just screaming. Everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?" Oof. And Meg's over there like, "I gotta do this again?"
Right. And then they
"Sorry,
go
ma'am. You're gonna do this for the rest of the night. Thank
right.
you."
You are yeah, you better strap in cuz you're about to have a hell of a night.
Whew.
Which is weird now that I think about it cuz yes, this whole movie takes place over the course of like about 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild. Huh. Just now dawned on me. And then we got the phone booth scene, which
So good.
yes, again I had a note made because I enjoy this scene so much, where it was just I really want to know how they did a lot of these scenes, because this one was one of those ones where you got a shot of the waitress and she is, it's like you're looking down from the top of the phone booth and she's on the phone and the blob is all around her. And then it cuts to something like maybe the phone that dropped or something. Like it's a really quick edit. And then it comes back, and then that's when the phone booth implodes and basically crushes her and eats her and all that. And when you watch it, because I watched this little segment, like this little 2-second clip, probably 4 or 5 times. When all the slime comes rushing into the phone booth, like the dummy that they cut in there is just, it looks like her, but it just gets destroyed. Like you can
So
tell
fast.
it's really fast, like just sheer force of just imploding slime just destroys that dummy. And I'm like, man, that is such a good scene for just that alone, for like that effect, that good practical effect. Because if they made this movie now, it would be all CGI, and these actors would be acting on a green screen and all this. Like, I really love the fact that they put people in prosthetics and covered them in Ivan Ooze Nickelodeon style slime. Shortly after this, the movie theater. I want to get your opinions on the when the blob
Oh,
attacks a movie
Lord.
theater.
Oh my
As
god.
someone who has worked in a movie theater recently,
So here's the thing. Obviously, our booth tech was a lot different. And also, I think this is probably just, it's like a one screen type thing. So my man is sitting up there in this hot projection booth. He's like, "Hey, manager, I'm boiling up here. And the manager's just like, the AC's all the way up. Like, that is such a thing that you would definitely, like, go into a movie theater where someone is like, oh my god, it is so hot in here. And you go in there, you check the temperature, and you're just like, god damn it. If I put it, like, any, like, more cold, everyone's gonna come out and be like, we're freezing. Like, stuff like that. So that in itself, I was just like, damn. Also, why is my man over here letting these little stupid ass kids watch this movie? Just for like what do you owe them? What do you owe these children to be like, yeah, y'all can come watch this
Right.
PG-13 R movie. There's no sex in it though, Mom. What? I wouldn't have said something like that to my mom. That's weird enough. But I did enjoy when the dude behind them just like slung up and his date's sitting there just screaming. Everyone looks up and absolute chaos breaks out. So freaking good. Spoiler alert, if anyone here has epilepsy, skip this scene. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because while it was going, I was like, I feel like just like if I was in something like that, I'd just be having a panic attack just because of the way that everything was looking. Like, not even just because of like the sheer panic going on, but man.
Yeah.
But I liked that scene. It was a good scene, especially when Meg's trying to run in to the entire crowd, trying to run out, and Chris is like, she's not gonna try and do it. Why didn't she just wait? It would be so much faster if she just like stands there for a second and runs in right after. I was like, hey, that's not movie logic.
Right. This is horror movie logic. Like we can't
gotta
be
get
doing
our
that.
little brother right now.
Yeah, they never did describe like what the relationship was with these two kids and this teenager who was like, "Oh man, your mom's gonna kill me." I'm like, but that's not your mom. Like what? Like what are y'all talking about? And these kids are just being straight up jerks. Like they're just being assholes. Like dude's got his feet on the seat and all that. But I did like my man who was back there commentating, like because I wasn't in front of him. He was funny to me.
Man, I'd be getting pissed off. I ain't gonna lie. When I worked at the theater, or when Chris was still working at the theater, and we heard someone being annoying, whichever one of us worked there would walk up and be like, hey, just want to let you know I'm the assistant manager here, and I really need you to shut the fuck up. Obviously, a lot nicer because... But they would literally look at us and be like, oh, okay. It's the perks.
Shortly after this, though, the kids got their comeuppance. It did something that I was not expecting in this movie because I haven't seen it so long I couldn't remember who all died. But I was shocked and amazed that they killed one of the kids off in the sewer.
I kind of liked it. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of liked it too. But, that is like a big no-no in horror movies. Like, usually kids are safe from all of that. And for them to have, like, a kid who was, like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. Like, yeah, granted, he was a jerk. But, he was just a young teenager. And for them to be like, nope, he's going to die. And we're even going to give him a gruesome,
right.
acid-eating death out of the whole thing.
Ooh.
That was crazy.
I was not expecting that when Homeboy just like fell in and she just goes right after him. She pops up and then nice little oozing child face comes out.
So what'd you think of the end? Like, I guess this is a problem. Like, I had a hard time understanding this because I'm from the South and I've never lived in a place where it got cold enough for people to be like, oh, skiing and stuff, where they get out the snowmaker and they're freezing this thing down. And, like, I will accept it because, again, this is a movie about a big giant blob monster that kills and eats everybody. So really anything's on the table because they never were like, oh, yeah. But,
Right.
that part just seemed like really kind of weird to me. I was like, is that how that works? We can blow it up and have a big explosion and then winter?
Yeah, I was a little confused by that, but at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna let it pass because it's the 80s.
Yeah.
But I've never, I've gone skiing. I do like nice little pretty frosted mountains and whatnot. But I was like, why, if it's like a ski place, why would you have that? To be like, yeah, we're gonna put more snow on the mountains just in case it's not snowed up enough.
Well, no, because they talked about that, about how they hadn't had a whole lot of snow the past couple years.
Well then,
So
maybe you don't need the machine. Maybe business is declining due to global warming. Thank you.
Ooh.
Please donate and support the cause. But homie, how did he get there so fast? Because it feels like,
Okay, to be fair, from what I gathered in this town, is that this town is the size of Hawkinsville, Georgia,
fair enough.
where they have a main strip, and then next to that main strip is a courthouse / city hall / DMV / everything you need. Like their entire population of that town is probably about I'll say less than 1,000 people. So there was absolutely no. I've driven through hundreds of small towns like this over the years where, yeah, oh man, we're all at city thing doesn't like coal. Well, let me go over to Big Jeb's auto shop. I only got to run 200 yards to get there because everything is within like a block of everything.
Yeah, but he also drove it through the woods. So I'm like, where?
Did he?
How are the woods lined? Yes, because he drove it. He hit or I feel like he did. I don't know.
Hold on.
It was all crazy.
I'll have to look that up.
I might be crazy. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah. I mean,
He
at
just
this
comes
point
flooring
in
it.
the movie, man, we didn't even talk about the scientist people. Yeah.
Man, fuck them.
Fuck them. In the original, it was just an alien from space. It was like, ooh, alien blob from space, and that's all the explanation you needed. And this one played off like the fears of, big government and doing things that they don't tell us about and stuff. And then, therefore we got the government agency. I did like that the blob did come up through the sewer manhole cover and get the head scientist man. And then the colonel took over and was like, fuck this. We're going to blow it up, dudes. Like he was waiting for this moment. Like, yeah, now's my time to shine. And was just throwing grenades down the manhole cover. I loved it.
Oh, it was so good. That was so good to watch.
Oh.
But
yeah.
you can definitely tell that a lot of people were like, I don't know if we should keep this thing going. Also, this crazy lunatic is just like, we can just get rid of whoever we need to as long as we keep this crazy blob alive.
Right.
What are you going to do with it? You're just going to keep it in the sewer? I'm sure they didn't understand that freezing it was a thing.
Right. Yeah, what?
Logic.
Weird.
We're just going to put it in a giant Tupperware container.
Well,
it'll work.
Well, that's what they ended up doing, or the priest ended up doing at the end. Blob 2 Electric Boogaloo coming this summer.
I really was wondering, about the whole, they turned to the crystals, and then I was like, well, what happens if it, defrosts? Does it melt back? So I really like that they gave that explanation. But at the same time, what happened with the rest of the giant blob? Did they just leave it frozen somewhere?
Oh, you don't need to think about all that.
I do. That's what my brain does. Is it goes, hey, but what about this? They just left it in an ice rink somewhere and said, hey, the power can't go out, guys. But yeah,
Oh.
I think that that priest was kind of a piece of shit, but whatever.
Yeah, he was. I
That's my
mean,
take.
that was kind of the trope of like small town religious figures in the 80s, where it was just like, oh yeah, God, Jesus, and then you see him with like the liquor, and that's the guy you catch doing nefarious shit, questionable moral shit, back in the day, or um, especially in 80s media, like that's kind of how that was.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. But yeah, that's the blob.
that is the Blob. It was like I said, I really had the the intention of dunking on this movie, and I just enjoyed it too much. It was super fun. I have to find something different for next week for us to dunk on, but this was fun.
Yeah. I did like this. I do like watching like older horror movies. That's a thing that my mom and I would do a lot when I was growing up. So my love of horror has always just like been, it doesn't matter if it's like new and super scary or if it's like old and kind of like trash and cringy. My mom and I would just find like the stupidest horror movies that we possibly could on like on demand and just constantly watch them. And my grandfather at some point would just be like, I can't watch this anymore. I don't know how you guys stand it. But yeah.
All right, well, let's let's uh let's move on to my favorite time of the week. Raven, tell me what has made you happy this week.
This past Saturday, because I think you and I recorded last Friday.
Oh, we did. That's right.
Yeah, because we had a nice little birthday party for our sweet little 16-year-old Boo Bear. We had lots of friends and family that brought their own pets. Um, went to this nice little place in Knoxville where it's like, you pay a flat rate for your dog and then people can just like come in, do whatever. They have like alcohol that you can buy. And so it was nice for just like us to have people that Boo knows and that we know love Boo and us. And for an hour and a half, this little guy would not stop just walking around to each person, just wagging his tail away, just looking so happy. Like everyone was commenting on it. They were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that Boo won't just stop going up to all of his guests and greeting them and saying hi." And everyone just like bends down. They're like, "Oh my god, our little babies." So by the time we got home with him, he just like was so tuckered out and he just passed out. But this weekend, Chris and I finally got all of the very last of our stuff from our house in Georgia and brought it up here to our lovely apartment in Knoxville. The biggest thing that we have to do now is just find out where it all goes and then donate whatever the heck random stuff that we brought up that we're like, we don't want this, but we had to get it out. But yeah, that's been the nicest parts of my week.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Mark? What's made you happy this week?
I was thinking about how I was going to answer this question, and then talking to you before we started recording, I was like, I got it. Because let me tell you what my dumb dog did. Actually, I have two things. I'm going to tell you my dumb dog thing. So Sunday, we went to my dad's house for Yvette's birthday. It was a birthday. He had a couple people over, have some cake and some ice cream, hamburgers, hot dogs, that kind of stuff. And we get there, and I take me and the two girls and Sasha, my dog, and we get there. The dog's happy to see everybody. She's excited. We go out in the backyard. Last time we were there, she was in the backyard, didn't bother running out, doing anything like that. We threw a ball around. She had the time of her life. I take her out in the backyard this time. She's running around, having the time of her life. She looks at the swimming pool.
Oh, no.
Looks at me, and then runs right towards the swimming pool, jumps over the edge of the swimming pool, which is probably, I don't know, like 3 feet, clears that easily, doesn't even break stride, just bloop, jumps over, splashes in, and then I know that my father is just going to lose his mind, because the second he looks over and sees this dog come up, who comes up and looks at me like, oh shit, it's wet and it's deeper than I thought it was. I can't stand up. He's like, God damn it, get that dog out of the pool. Don't let her scratch my liner. I'm like, I know.
The liner.
I got it. Shut up. And she was wearing a harness, so I just pick her up by her harness and put her out. I set her on the ground, and she shakes all the water and looks at me like, yeah, I did the thing. And I was like, don't do that shit again. And then she runs off acting like she's going to go inside. I'm like, you can't go inside. You're soaking wet. Now we got to hang out outside and let you dry off. And yeah, and I can't let her go because I don't want her to go jump in the pool again, which she doesn't offer to do again. But now that I know that it's an option, I have to be careful.
Right.
So yeah. And I thought it was hilarious. It was great. I laughed about it. Kelly thought it was hilarious. Yeah. And on top of all that, this week, going back, getting ready for Zelda 2 Electric Boogaloo next week, I started playing Breath of the Wild again. Just pick back up my old save game and just playing. Just walking around Hyrule and just playing cool things and doing cool things and playing the expansion pass. Just having a ball, and I'm so pumped. It is just really just a great dose of serotonin, of feel-good chemicals at the end of the night when I can just sit down for about an hour and just ride my horse and battle Lionels and do just cool, fun stuff in Breath of the Wild. And I cannot wait. Y'all. We might have to record on Sunday next week just so I can tell you guys all the fun stuff that Breath of the Wild is doing. And I really hope I'm not overselling it, because I'm going to be disappointed if I'm like, oh my God, you'll never believe what happened. It's terrible. But I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't played... I think I've played a part of a Zelda game. I don't really know what I've played, to be honest. I know that it's Chris's favorite video games. But I feel like, from what Chris has said, that most of them have all been, pretty good, pretty fun, all that jazzerino. So, as pretty as Breath of the Wild was, I feel like this next one should be, gorgeous as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they've had a chance to really kind of figure out the hardware that it's to be built around, whereas last time they didn't really have that luxury for a lot of the development. And I have faith that they're going to do really good things, because they're building it off the backbone of a great entry into the series. Mm-hmm. So I'm really jazzed about it, if it's not too obvious already. But just it's Breath of the Wild by far is one of my favorite games that I can literally pick up and play at any time. I mean, this week I picked it up. I hadn't played it in probably a couple months. I just picked it up and was like, oh, cool. We're back in it. Didn't even break stride. Just, I'm here. We're playing it. Let's go for it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's still fun. I'm still having a good time with it. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Raven, tell everybody where they can find you on the social medias.
Hey there, guys. You can find me on the Instagram at That's So Raven Ellis, Or I've got some grooming Instagram that you want to go to. That's Raven Grooms Dogs. You can find us on the Nerd for No Reason podcast, Instagram, Twitters, all that jazzery. That just, the Nerd for No Reason. Mark. Oh, hold on. He's hacking. There he goes. Yep, get it.
Come on. Get it, buddy.
Hey, there we go. We good?
Nope.
Oh, round 2. Nope, some sneeze. What are we doing? Yeah, get it out. There we go. It's always the way that he just like kind of looks around and he like looks at you and he's just like, I feel better. Poor guy. All right. Mark.
Yes.
Tell the people where you were located on the internet.
I am everywhere on the social medias at Turtles Do It. If you can't find me at Turtles Do It, then don't worry about it. That's probably an old account and it's not active, and just don't even waste your time. But Turtles Do It. That's where you can find me. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
So, I'm excited about this coming up week. I got a lot of stuff going on. Kids stuff, extracurricular stuff, topped off by video games. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. And I don't know what movie we're going to watch. So if you want to suggest a movie on our Twitters or Instagrams, then please, by all means, hit us up. Let us know. Shoot us a message. Give us a 5-star rating and review.
You gotta be a little more,
Algorithms.
demanding with it.
Give us that 5-star rating and review now, sucker.
There we go.
But,
much better.
But yeah, hit us up. Let us know what you want us to talk about and stuff. We like hearing from people. Other than that, y'all be good. Go do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go ingest some cool medias, and we'll see you back here at the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.